Hello, my name is Margaret Adele, and welcome to the first chapter taste test, free ebook edition. I've done one of these before with books written by trans authors, but I wanted to bring this back because we're in a really weird time as a human race. And a lot of people are stuck inside with maybe not their regular income. If they're lucky, maybe they still have something, or else you could have been laid off entirely. So I wanted to come up with a way to show people they have resources for passing the time while in isolation that also wouldn't cost you any money. So today I am looking through 6 different free ebooks I got off Amazon, and it is pretty easy to search for these. I went to the site, I toggled the Kindle store, and I literally put 0.00 into the search bar and just went through page by page and picked what looked cool to me. So all of these are free, but also legally so. I did not pirate any of these books, and these are also all books that you could, unless something drastically changes in the next 48 hours, go and get yourself for free. Now, obviously, if you are able to spend any kind of money in this time, a lot of these books are the first in a series, and the ones farther down the series are usually never free almost. The idea of this is to get you started in a series that you will then spend money on. But for now, just to get everyone through this really weird time, let's jump right into the taste test. Alright, so the first book on the list is Haunted Hideout by Michelle Dorey. This is a horror novel, I guess you would say, although the first chapter does not give you a lot of indication. All about this young family who has recently lost the patriarch. Liam died, and they are going into the witness protection program because apparently Liam was working with a cartel that his family didn't know about. And then, according to the synopsis, some spooky things happen when they go to the safe house and there's a blizzard and they get trapped, and spooky things continue to happen while the blizzard is happening. So, if you like ghost stories and horror, that might be more your bent. The first chapter is literally just our protagonist finding out that her husband is dead and getting taken away by the FBI. It is a really short chapter, and there are like 28 of them. So, my guess is this book is probably going to be pretty quick. Nothing in the writing style super jumped out at me, but again, it was like that. So it's not immediately gripping, and right now I don't know that it's really what I'm looking forward to because it's a story about being stuck in a house, which on second thought, not the best story for this time. Book 2 is Eternal by W.J. May. This is fantasy, I believe you could call it young adult fantasy, and it is all about this young princess who discovers that her father has been murdered by her brother, and now she is on the run from him. The first chapter is pretty much all about the assassination and her running away, so apparently I'm just gonna start a bunch of books where someone dies at the beginning. That's a great way to go. Anyway, this is a very fast-paced first chapter, and you can see a lot of things happening, and it's her running from danger and kind of like getting some nods from some friends as she goes. And I'm not gonna lie, there are certain parts where it feels like it's a lot happening, but also not a lot happening because she's running around, but she's not actually making progress anywhere until near the end of the chapter. And it's a little bit longer than the other one. It's about 25 pages, more or less. So this is a little bit of a longer book. And at the end of the chapter is when you meet some of her first friends, and low-key, they kind of reminded me of the fairies from Sleeping Beauty. So I'm kind of into it. And I would probably continue with that, depending. Pretty decent, fairly like dramatic language, given that it's beginning with the assassination of a king. And the story will follow Katerina, our princess, as she builds up essentially support outside of the kingdom to come back and reclaim her throne. So it could be a lot of fun. If you're into YA fantasy, I would definitely suggest it. I don't mind it, but I have a feeling that something else that I'm going to read on this list will probably catch my attention a little bit more. Up next, the book I chose is Bridesmaids Lotto by Rachel Astor. This is a lighthearted romance by the looks of it, all about our young protagonist named Josie, who is put into this contest by her mother to be the bridesmaids for this socialite whose new brother-in-law is the movie star she always had a crush on. It seems very cheesy, very rom-com-like. You know exactly where it's going, but that's kind of nice. The thing that I was iffy with when I was reading the first chapter is, Josie gives off some not like other girls vibe, like, oh, every other young single woman is obsessed with this entertainment news and I have better things to do. And her mother is so heinously stereotypical, guilt-tripping, why don't you have a boyfriend, I need grandkids, like stereotype of a mother from these books. So it reads slightly outdated from like the era of the romantic comedy when that was, as a movie type, was in full swing, and it's kind of fallen out of favor a little bit recently. So I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably still read it because I feel like once the actual romance picks up, it would probably be better. But this is definitely one of those that you have to go into already liking the style of what it is and not expecting all that much, which in this time period, a lot of people are like, yes, please give me fluffy, happy books, because that's valid at this point. The next book on the list is Mind Machines by Dima Zales and Anna Zares. That might also be Dima. I can't find a pronunciation. I'll have to do more looking into that. Regardless, this is a sci-fi all about a young billionaire whose mother has dementia or Alzheimer's. The synopsis doesn't say which. And he has invested in this nanotechnology to help save her memory, essentially. And it becomes lucrative. Very lucrative. Lucrative to the extent that some criminals take note and he gets pulled into this criminal underground. That in itself sounds really cool to me. It was a really short first chapter, like 5 pages, and it was mostly a really creepy dream sequence. But it was creepy in such a speculative way that like you knew right away it was a dream sequence. And so it's not like dark in a way that is immediately likened to our current situation. And admittedly, this isn't the book I thought would be the biggest standout to me when I looked through this list to pick one, but I really like this one. The writing style flows really well. I actually was like low-key reading into the next chapter just to see, but I thought it was really intriguing. I liked the concept of someone trying to do something good and still ending up with negative side effects to it. And I don't know how big the sci-fi aspects will be, but I'm hoping they'll be big because I like big sci-fi. I like heavy sci-fi. But this is definitely a front runner for one of my reads during social distancing. So I'll have to keep that in mind. So if you like sci-fi, definitely check this one out. The next book is one that I am definitely going to be reading over social distancing because it is very useful and very short. And that is 10 BS Medical Tropes That Need to Die Today and What to Do Instead by Samantha Keel. This is exactly what it looks like. It is nonfiction help for writers from an official paramedic who has actually been out there in the field for decades, talking about the tropes that she's seen come up in writing and why they're BS and what to do instead. So I read the first one because this book doesn't really have chapters. I read the first trope that was all about going into shock, and it was really enlightening how by the time you can see someone with the like symptoms of shock, they're not going into it, they're directly in the middle of it. And how, no, it's not really based on any kind of emotional stuff. It is purely as a result of blood flow. And the description was really easy to follow. I mean, like, yeah, it had like the big fancy medical names in parentheses, but the way she described the circulatory system as like pump and pipes made it very simple for someone who's not in the medical field to follow. And it also talks about how, you know, if you have a character that's not a doctor, you can still have them say the common tropes because that's how they think, but you should definitely never have someone who's supposed to have medical background say them. And she also talks about a kind of a way to have a medical character or a character in the medical system speak a problem action setup that is more realistic than just stating the problem. So I thought that was really cool. She talks about all the different ways that could cause shock. So like there's a lot of really good stuff in there, and I'm definitely gonna finish this one because it is like 60 pages and it is all good reference material. I might literally take notes depending on how bored I get when I'm stuck at home. But if you are using your social distancing or self-isolation to work on your writing craft, I would 100% recommend this one. The final book is one I picked purely because of the cover, and that is Magic Blood by S.A. Richards. I saw the black woman on the cover and I was like, ooh, black protagonist. I don't know if it's own voices because I can't find anything about the author anywhere I looked, but I'm hoping. This is an urban paranormal dystopian wherein humans have been kind of shunted to the sidelines of society by trolls and droids and a whole bunch of other things. And it revolves around Bree, our protagonist, who is just trying to make ends meet. And she has also discovered that she is half mage. And that's not a good thing in this world. The action is intriguing. We have some nice action going on. The dialogue was a little bit clunky in that, like, it didn't really read like the way people spoke. And also, I wish there'd been more drawn out world building as opposed to kind of just shoving it in the midst of what was a battle scene essentially between two characters. So I would have liked more of that. Maybe like seeing the realization that she was half mage, or something to the effect of seeing the brother that she's taking care of in the hospital, like that kind of thing. But again, this is also a dystopian, so this might not be the lighthearted thing you're going for. So maybe definitely check out the slew of romance novels that you can always get the first in the series for free on a variety of platforms. They're usually a good bet. But I'm pretty happy with the ones that I picked. I'm really looking forward to reading through the BS Medical Tropes. I'm also looking forward to the sci-fi one because that seems really intriguing as well. And again, you can check out your own free ebooks on Amazon by looking through the Kindle store with just the 0 in the search bar. It's really simple. And for those of you who are struggling to make ends meet, or have had layoffs, or are stuck at home, or are fearing illness, this sucks, yes, but we can get through this. We will hold together. Twitter and the bookish community have been so lovely recently. I think we'll be okay as a whole if we can keep trucking and lend out a hand when you can. Metaphorically, don't forget to keep your social distance and your hand sanitizer at hand. And with nothing else to say, I hope you have a wonderful day and a healthy tomorrow.